Friends and family will not make you happy. I think this is probably one of the biggest illusions and dangerous misunderstandings in life. And I think it's actually been exposed a lot by social media because people genuinely believe that their life would be more meaningful or they would be happier, more content if they had more friends or better friends, even. But that's not true. It's not true at all. And I mean, for one, people are going to be coming and going out of your life all the time. You might be the one leaving their life. But you can't allow your sense of self to change based on who's in your life because people are going to be coming and going from your life all the time. It's just how it goes. So it's so dangerous to fix any sort of identity that you have on people outside of yourself. This isn't saying anything about being selfish or being rude to other people or being insensitive, but you're putting yourself in danger whenever you build the foundation of your emotional and mental well-being on the continued existence of other people in your life, because it's not guaranteed at all. If anything, it's guaranteed that they're going to leave your life. People are going to disappoint you. But I see too often on the internet people calling themselves loners or things like that, like as a negative thing, like as a reason why they're not happy. And I think it's backwards because like the reason you don't have friends isn't because people aren't befriending you. It's because you're not befriending other people. Like, why is it other people's fault that they're not befriending you? It's equally your responsibility to go out and befriend other people. So if you don't have friends, that's partially your fault as well. Because how do you know that these other people out there aren't wanting to be befriended by you? Just because some people have told you they don't want to be your friend doesn't mean other people don't. And either way, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't affect your overall emotional and mental well-being if people are in your life versus if they're not. Temporarily, it should. I understand. But in the long run, no. I mean, some of the most successful and the most looked up to people were people that spent a lot of time alone. Like, how do you think they got to be successful? You have to be willing to spend a lot of time alone to really perfect and get good at something. Like any good author, you have to spend a lot of time writing to become a good author. Do you think that these authors weren't happy? Not necessarily. Like, having more friends isn't going to make you more happy. Happiness does not scale with the amount of relationships in your life. If anything, it can do the opposite. Like, even if you just have 0 relationships in your life, going from 0 to 1 relationship in your life is not necessarily going to make you happier. And it's because happiness comes from your emotions, right? And your emotions don't come from other people. Your emotions are self-generated. They're generated inside of you. So other people cannot literally come up to you and inject their emotions into you to make you happier. That's not how that works. That's heroin. And heroin, you see that you see what that does to people when you try to get emotions from outside of yourself. When you try to inject good feeling from outside of yourself, it doesn't last because you have to be self-sustaining with your happiness. And the way you do this is you feel all of your emotions, like I've explained in my other videos, but you need to feel all of your negative and uncomfortable emotions just as much as you feel your positive emotions that you like feeling. They work together. They're one and the same. And even if you were to eventually get relationships, get friends in your life, get family, start a family, you cannot make those people your foundation. I think it's very dangerous. Like when I hear people say that their wife or their husband is their rock, their child is their rock. What happens, if you have turmoil in that relationship, when your spouse starts saying mean things to you, when they start doing things that seem to endanger that relationship, when your child is mean to you, if something happens to your child, God forbid, those things shouldn't immediately affect your sense of self. Like, yes, they can make you sad and upset, but they shouldn't affect your sense of self and your ability to lead a peaceful and relaxed and content life. That only comes from inside of you. And you put other people in a very precarious position when you start basing your quality of life on their being in your life. That's a lot of pressure on people, and no one is going to be able to live up to that consistently. People are always going to disappoint you, just like you disappoint other people. The only one that can continually provide you happiness in your life is yourself and your own relationship and connection with your emotions, especially your negative and uncomfortable emotions. So don't look at other people on social media and see them with more friends, a seemingly better family, and think, that's why they're happier than me. That's why I'm unhappy, because I don't have those things. I mean, first of all, you don't even know that they're happy. Like, it's foolish to assume that someone is unhappy just because they're not smiling. Just like it's foolish to assume that someone is happy because they are smiling. Like, people lie. People do things to be socially correct, They post themselves with other people on social media because most people don't post pictures of themselves alone on social media. That's not really something people do. I think they should, but it's kind of survivorship bias. Like, when you go on social media, of course, all you see is people with other people, because the people that are alone aren't posting anything. So you're only seeing the people that are with other people. You have no idea how much time these people are spending alone. You don't know even if they're hanging out with these people outside of the photo, or if they even like these people. People lie, people fake things all the time. But don't buy into the lie that you're one relationship away from happiness. That's why a lot of people get married, and why a lot of people aren't happy in a marriage, because yes, a person can make you happy in the short term. They can give you a buzz. They can I've been in a codependent relationship before where the only thing that made me happy was that relationship. That is extremely unhealthy. That's an addiction. You're addicted to the emotions that these people are eliciting within you, that the emotion that they're causing to arise within you. You're addicted to them because they're making you feel good. But it's unhealthy. You can't go on like this. Just like any addiction, it's good in the short term, but it's not healthy at all in the long run, and it's gonna go up in flames eventually, because your significant other is gonna, do things that make you doubt whether or not they're gonna stay with you, permanently, and then that's gonna turn them off because you're too clingy, and then boom, there goes the relationship. Or, like so many people, maybe you'll start a family, you'll have kids, because for some reason you think that having more kids would make you happier, Like, if you're depressed and you get a girlfriend, you're not going to stop being depressed. That's a problem with your emotions, with your relationship with your emotions. If you get a girlfriend, you're just going to be a depressed guy with a girlfriend, okay? That's all that's going to happen. Your happiness cannot come from other people, because all your happiness is only ever happening inside of you. Like, literally, physically speaking, it's not happening outside of your skin. All of your happiness is only happening inside of you. And if you're depressed and you get married, well, great. Now you're a depressed person with a spouse. If you're depressed and you start a family, great. Now you're a depressed person that has kids and a wife. Like, things aren't getting better for you. You're bringing in more people that are going to need to rely on you, but aren't going to be able to rely on you because you're not self-sufficient. Like, how it wouldn't even be possible to be completely reliant on other people for your emotional well-being. Because if we were all reliant on each other, how does that even work? There has to be, if we're all validating each other, one person is validating the next person is validating the next person, who's the great validator that's validating everybody, that's giving this validation energy? No one. It's not possible. The only way you can have sustainable validation is from yourself. And you're never really going to know exactly, specifically, what pisses other people off, what makes people happy. You're never going to know exactly, because a lot of times we don't even know for ourselves exactly what's going to make us happy. So you're going to be running in circles trying to get people to like you, because these people don't even necessarily know what they like. And so you definitely don't know what they like. So at the end of the day, you need to have yourself as your first priority. You should be at the top of the pyramid. Not in a selfish way. This is not a negative way of being selfish. The only time that selfishness is bad is when you're doing it at the expense of other people, when you're hurting other people in order to do something for yourself. But you don't have to do that. You can be selfish in a good way. Selfishness is not necessarily a bad thing, but you should always have your well-being above other people. And what I mean by that is you should be making sure you take care of yourself before you take care of other people, before you try to get other people to like you. You should already like yourself. No matter how many people you add to your life, you're not going to become like the happy person that you want to be. You know, that's not how it works. Otherwise, everyone would be like just dying to be famous, and famous people would just be like so happy all the time, and they would just be like talking about how being famous is so great because all these people like them. No. Why do you think so many famous people die of drug overdoses? Because they're not happy. Knowing more people does not make you more happy. Otherwise, celebrities would be the happiest people on earth. But we see that that is not true time and time again. So don't go around pretending that your life is about other people, because that is such an unhealthy view on life. Like, selflessness is good to an extent, just like selfishness is good to an extent. Selflessness becomes unhealthy when you're doing it at the expense of yourself. In the same way, selfishness becomes unhealthy when you're doing it at the expense of other people, when you're intentionally trying to hurt other people. Inevitably, some people are going to be hurt when you try to care for yourself, you know? You have no idea of knowing exactly what is going to hurt other people's feelings. But as long as your end goal is not to hurt other people's feelings, then it's okay if you hurt people's feelings along the way. People are going to get their feelings hurt when you decide to stop at a yellow light instead of going at a yellow light. I mean, you have no way of necessarily knowing whose feelings you're going to hurt and to what extent you're going to hurt their feelings. You need to be focused on feeling all of your emotions in their entirety, and just don't be trying to go out and hurt other people. That shouldn't ever be on your mind, you know? So as long as you're doing that, you're going to be okay. And it's not wrong to hurt other people's feelings, as long as it's not your immediate intention. That's not your main goal. It's not your end goal. But I spent a lot of my life thinking that I just, you know, had the wrong group of friends, or I needed to meet the one. You know, I needed to meet the right girl. There's no right girl. There's no perfect girl. There's no right group of friends. I mean, there are certainly friends and girlfriends that can be worse for you than others, but don't spend your time expecting to find a perfect group of friends, and don't spend time trying to find the right group of friends or the right girlfriend that's going to finally make you like yourself. That's going to finally make you happy. That's not how it works. Because, like, imagine you're wanting a girlfriend that you see as happy. Well, where is she getting her happiness from? Well, someone else? Well, that's not healthy. Whenever you see someone happy, you know, that's just naturally happy, you naturally want to be around them, you know? That's what a healthy person looks like. Someone that's just naturally happy on their own. They're self-sufficient with their happiness. Yeah. So that should be your goal, not to necessarily find people like that, but to become that kind of person. It's very doable. But loneliness is not a bad thing. Being alone is not a bad thing. You can feel those feelings, you know, of being alone. But it doesn't mean you need to add more people to your life. It doesn't mean you need to go back and date your ex. It means you miss them. It just means you miss them. And that's normal. You need to let yourself cry and grieve and tremble and shake over that loss, because it's normal to miss someone. It's normal to grieve over people leaving your life that have been in your life for a long time. It doesn't mean you need to go and try to replace your friend that left with a new friend, with your girlfriend that left you for a new girlfriend. Those emotions are there to acknowledge the loss that you experienced emotionally. So you need to let yourself feel that. But again, no amount of people you add to your life is going to teach you to get in touch with your emotions, because your lack of connectedness to your emotions is the reason you're not happy. That's it. You need to be willing to feel your pain, your grief, your shame, your guilt, your sadness, your depression, your anxiety, your fear. Once you feel all of those things, completely and you give them the same attention you give to your positive emotions of happiness, excitement, joy, relaxation, when they have the same amount of attention from you, then you will feel better, okay? But no amount of people you add to your life are going to fix you or make you feel better or add meaning to your life. It's not how it works. You're going to be lost. You're going to be spinning in circles the more you try to treat your life like a math problem. Because you're kind of just, whenever you like feel that you need more people in your life, you're kind of just treating them like numbers in a way. If only I had more people in my life, a higher number of people. That's not how friendships work. That's not how relationships work. It's not a numbers game. And I think comparing the amount of friends you have to the amount of friends someone else might have, it's kind of like comparing the amount of cousins you have to the amount of cousins someone else has. A lot of times it's just out of your control. Because, you know, you're going to make friends where interests converge. And if you don't share the same interests with some other people, then you're not going to have as many friends as other people that have the same interests. You know, and that's okay. It's not your fault. You can't help that you're interested in some things and other people aren't interested in the same things as you. In the same way, you can't control how many cousins you have, you know? So, don't go out searching for friends. What you should do if... I mean, yeah, I hesitate to even say it, like, having more friends doesn't fix anything at all. Nothing. It fixes nothing. But the way you make friends anyways is just by following your interests, pursuing interests. And then as a byproduct of that, of being invested in your hobbies, your interests, your job, you'll make friends. Maybe only one friend. Maybe just someone you know for a year, a couple years, and they move away to a different job. Maybe 5 friends. You don't know. But that's how you meet people that you like. And if you don't meet people you like, that's okay. That says nothing about, you know, the limit to your happiness. You can be just as happy with 0 friends as you can be with 100 friends, I promise. If anything, adding more people to your life is going to make it more chaotic. So do not treat friendships like a numbers game. There's not a correct number of friends to have in your life, because imagine you live in a world where it's you and 99 other Nazis. Horrible people. You don't need to go out and try to befriend them. You don't need them in your life for your life to have meaning, you know? Sometimes you really are going to be surrounded by horrible people. And, like, trying to befriend them isn't going to make you happier. It would just be, like, degrading yourself, essentially. So it's okay. Sometimes it's really good. It's the best possible option to not have friends, because you're making yourself the priority. You're treating yourself as the priority, not other people. Don't ever lower yourself to other people. That's how so many bad things have happened throughout history, is because people become reliant on the validation they seek from others. And they never stand up for themselves or what they believe is right, because they're scared. They're scared of being alone. But feelings of loneliness don't mean that you need more people in your life. It just means you need to feel your emotions. You need to feel the sadness and the loss and the grief of not having certain people in your life, having people leave your life. It's normal. But again, it's not a numbers game.